What's up, y'all? This is Alexandria Galore, and I am back with another one. So today we are going to be talking about what you need to start your business, or if you already started a business, some of the steps that you should already check off on your list so that everything can run a bit more smoothly. Starting a business is no joke. It's not for the weak. It's not for the faint of heart. And if you're going to actually consider it a business, you're definitely going to have to put in your blood and sweat and tears. There's a difference between a business and a hobby, and I think a lot of people need to realize that. And what I classify as a business versus a hobby is that you're putting your all into it. When you run a business, you can't just do it for the money. To me, that's a hobby. If you're in something strictly just for the money, or money is like your absolute biggest reason, like if you wasn't making money you would quit, then that's a hobby. Because when you run a business, it's gonna be days, it's gonna be weeks when you don't make no money. I would say, especially for about a small business. Like, of course, I don't think Walmart have days where they go without making money unless they're closed. But when you're a small business, there are definitely going to be days where you're not bringing in the income you used to bringing in. There's going to be weeks that are slower than the others, so you can't make it a hobby if that's what you're going to do. Because when it's a hobby and you're like, if I ain't making no money, I ain't gonna do it. Oh baby, yeah, that first month, that first year in business, you gonna go ahead and quit. Because it's not going to be consistent unless you already have a following. And even people who have followings, they don't necessarily get sales all the time just because they have a big name. You got to put in the work. You got to have quality things. And if you don't have quality things, people finesse. You don't always have to have quality things, but I wouldn't suggest it. So jumping right into it so this video isn't extra long. The very first thing you want to think about when you think that you want to start an actual business, not a hobby. I'm not suggesting anybody start a hobby. That's between you and yourself. But when you want to start an actual business, the first thing you want to think about is why, and do I have a passion for these things? Because sometimes those things don't go two and two, hand in hand, whatever you want to call it. You could say, oh, I want to be an MUA, and then you ask yourself, why? Like, do I have a passion for being an MUA? And if not, why do I want to be an MUA? Makeup artist, for people who don't know. And in your mind, you'll be like, oh, I want to be a makeup artist because I want to learn how to do my makeup. I'm tired of paying these MUAs. They cost too much money, so I'm gonna learn. And I'm gonna make sure me and my girls are cute. Okay, that's cool, but that could be a hobby. If you want to be an MUA, maybe your passion is that you want to make women feel good about themselves when their face is beat. Maybe you feel like it's within you. You see these other makeup artists and you like, I know I could do that. I know I can make women look good, feel good, whatever. Like, you really have to be passionate about what you're going to do because it's going to be ups and downs. And if you're not passionate about what you're doing, then when the downs come, you're going to want to quit. And I mean, of course, even if you're passionate about something, you do have that moment where you feel like you want to quit, but the passion is what keeps you from quitting. So if it's not within you and you don't really have feelings for it, you're not really thinking about what you're doing or what you want to do, it's not always going to go that way. So moving on. Once you know what you want to do, once you know you have a passion, let's just sit with it MUA. Now we need to go legal. Now, I'm in the state of Florida, so I can only explain what happens in Florida. It's different for every state. So if you're watching this and you're out of state, I definitely recommend that you go ahead and Google. You can put your state's name first and then go ahead and Google what you're going to get. And I'm going to explain what that means. So when you want to legalize your business, you want to start off with what you're going to classify yourself as. So what that means is, you probably heard of an LLC. Limited liability company. Not everyone needs to get an LLC. You can get a DBA, you can get a sole proprietorship. You can be classified as a corporation. I wouldn't recommend it when you're starting off as a small business, but everyone needs to do their own research for their own industry. That's definitely not something that I'm going to give advice on because I don't want to be incorrect when it comes to different industries. I can only speak for myself and what I did. So what I did is I got an LLC. If you're in the state of Florida, you would just go to sunbiz.org. You can Google Sunbiz, and then you're going to go in the category of an LLC. It costs about $135, and you have to pay that yearly. But the great thing about the yearly payment is that they give you from January to May. So between January and May, you give them their $135, $139, however much, and then you're certified. You keep your LLC. Now, to get an LLC, it's just an application. You're going to submit the $135. With the name that you want your business to be, your name, the address. If you're going to use your personal address, I wouldn't suggest that you keep it for so long because it's going to be on public record. So if you don't mind people knowing where you live, like, I don't mind. But if you don't mind people knowing where you live, it doesn't matter. But if you do mind, and then you get into more professional things, like when you need to go get your business loans and things of that nature, you definitely want to look into getting a virtual address if you don't have an actual store, brick and mortar, or somewhere like a suite or something that you know you're going to continuously receive mail at for your business. So yeah, I went ahead and got an LLC. LLC means limited liability company. That just means that in the event someone sues me, my personal assets are not connected to my business, so they can only sue me for a certain amount of money, or even if it caps a certain amount of money, that my personal assets will never be in question when it comes to my business getting sued. I just felt that that was the best choice for me. But like I said, there are other choices out there, like a DBA, a sole proprietorship. They all have different meanings. They all have different pros and cons, especially when it comes to tax and stuff like that. I am not a tax preparer. I will not be giving you guys any tax advice or information. My biggest thing is just to talk to a tax preparer, especially when you get into making a lot of money, because you want to make sure you're doing the right thing. You want to make sure you don't owe the IRS. So moving on, once you legalize, and if you guys have any questions, please drop them below. But pretty much once you become legal, let's say I beat the face LLC. All right, I beat the face LLC. Now you need to figure out what you're going to do with your LLC. You got it, but what does that mean to your customers? For most people, they don't really care, but there are people who care, and they're like, I'm legalized. Now, in this specific scenario, because I'm talking about a MUA, I do recommend that you go to school. But if you don't, I can't force you to. I'm not telling you you have to, but a lot of people do prefer that you become licensed. In the meantime, in between time, let's say you want to do it outside of school while you're still going to school. Okay, cool. So now we move on to branding. Before you even market your business, before you even tell the world, hey, I'm coming out with a business, you want to know what it is that you're doing to brand your business. Branding means that you need to get your logo together. You see, I got it everywhere around me. Whenever you see me, you're going to see this somewhere. Like, let me see what's in front of me. When I go out in public, when you see me, you're going to see this. So that's a part of branding. And I mean, it does play on marketing as well, because if you go everywhere, then you're going to market your business. But when I say branding, you need a logo. You need brand colors. Get the numbers to those colors. All colors in this world have a number. A lot of them start off like F0075, whatever. You can put into Google and a color will come up once you put the specific number code for it. This is important because, just another example of me, my shirt is yellow. I went to the flea market. I didn't give them colors. I just sent them a picture of my logo within the email, and I guess he picked out the color, or this is how it came out the printer. My actual logo is gold. So I do have on this yellow and purple shirt. And then the mask I showed you guys, it actually looks blue, but that's my actual logo. I do have my logo colors. So when I do get things professionally done, which is outside of these shirts and the mask or whatever, when I get backdrops and things of that nature, I make sure the color matches my brand colors, because that's important. When you see, whether you know it or not, when you see like a Target logo, that red dot is red everywhere because it got colors. So when they give it to the graphic designer, they're like, let me get the F005 because that's our red. So you want to know, like, what does that mean? And you can, this is not super complicated. This isn't rocket science. You can actually get your color number through any app. Like, if you go on Canva and you like, I want a red, the red that you pick on Canva will have a number to it. So you can know what the number of your color for your brand is. And when I say a logo is important, let me just say this. You can always change your logo. So I don't want you to become fixated on the fact that you got to spend hundreds of dollars out of pocket. You can start with something and then change it up. But what I do recommend is that whatever you start with is something that can be morphed. So for the life of me, y'all, please stop doing the cartoon logos. Please stop putting your face as your brand logo. I mean, if that's what you prefer, cool. But I'm just coming from a customer viewpoint, and even customer and business owner, I hate them. I think it's extremely unprofessional, just because it doesn't tell me anything about your business if I got to see your face with makeup brushes on. It's like, yeah, I know that means you do makeup, but it's more so like you're trying to be seen and not necessarily entice me. It could be a figure, it could be an animal, but I just personally putting your own face, getting it screened. what is it, getting it drawn and making an outline of yourself, I don't care for it. Glitter as well. The reason I don't care for glitter, so before anyone gets riled up, is just because when I talk about logos, like I said, getting it printed, put it on anything, you have to think about where this is going. Not all glitter is going to look the same. So if you got a glitter logo and you get it printed for a backdrop, your backdrop might look different than your shirts. Your shirt might look different than your posters or your packaging. And it has to be on everything. If it doesn't, then that's kind of defeating the purpose. So make sure that whatever you're going to do is cohesive. You want to keep things cohesive. So branding all around is just making sure you start off with something presentable. And a website comes into play with that. But it also depends on what you're going to do. If you're going to do something service-based, remember that your service-based booking site can be designed. You get more customers when you bring something to their eyes. When I go on someone's booking site and it's straight black and white, sometimes I do get bored and I'm just like, I don't feel like looking no more. But I've been on people's websites that's black and pink, they're white and green, like they just have that little pop of color, and I'm like, oh, this is cute, you know. They have a little design in the background. You can get that done. And when we talk about finances, I don't want anyone to feel ashamed or scared if you feel like you can't afford it. Like I mentioned earlier, you can use Canva. You can create your own logo. If you don't want to create your own logo, Etsy can also be your best friend. And Fiverr or Fiverr is spelled Fiverr. You can Google it. I've never used it, but I've heard so many great things about it. They have professional artists on there. And they have very low rates. You can get stuff as cheap as I think like $5 or $10 for your business. These are real artists, and you tell them what you want, how you want it, what you had in mind, and they bring things to life. So this is like on the lower scale if you feel like you don't have the finances for that. Like I said, Canva is free. You can do a 1-month trial with Canva Pro to unlock some of the other features, and you can go on Fiverr, and yeah, you can get a free website from Big Cartel, and there's a couple other sites that let you start off as free. So I don't want anyone to feel like they can't start a business because they don't have the money. And also, stop trying to be perfect. Nothing in business will ever be perfect. All these businesses mess up every day. As a small business, you'll mess up every day, and you just have to make sure that like what you're doing is cohesive and you learn from it. But perfection is never going to be 100%. It's okay to want things to be good and in order, but it's never going to be 100% like, oh, this is exactly what I want. Because once something goes right, something else is going to go wrong. Okay, so shifting from branding, you also want to make sure you're marketing. Once you have your logo, once you have your flyers, your website, whatever it is you're going to use to bring people attention to your business, you want to make sure you're actually putting it out there. There's a lot of people who've got so many things done for their business, and then they're like, I didn't post it. I didn't feel like it. I've been had these pictures, but I ain't saying nothing. Stop doing that. Why are you doing that? That's wasting money. Once you have your marketing, well, once you have your branding in order, market it. Put it out in Facebook groups. Put it out outside the internet. Go outside, pass out flyers, post flyers, pass out business cards. Put your business cards in professional areas. Now, one thing I did see that was a little scary, and I wouldn't recommend this to no one. Someone actually put their own products in a store. I say don't do that if you don't have a contract with these stores, because you can't get in trouble for it. And even if you can't, I just believe that's tacky. It's like going into someone else's stores and putting stuff that they retail out and like, hey, I sell it, call me. Like, I don't do stuff like that. But the business cards is fine, because if they find them, they can throw them in the trash. If a potential customer finds it, they can keep it. So, you know, it is what it is. Some other things that you could do, like I said, you want to be well-rounded. So outside of social media, you can promote on social media. Make sure you're doing your reels on Instagram. Make sure you're doing your TikToks. TikToks is definitely what's bringing in the bag these days. So if you're starting a business, if you want to be some type of known person with your business, you got to get out there and promote yourself on the biggest platform right now on social media. If you're on Facebook, do your Facebook groups. Get into local groups for people who need things, whether it's a service or a product. People always need stuff. You just got to go ahead and find them. Outside of the internet, wear your own stuff. Be your own billboard. Be your walking billboard. When you walk out the house and someone sees you and they're like, oh my God, I love this, I love that. Oh, I did it. Oh, I sell it. Let them know. And then the last thing outside of marketing and branding is that you want to make sure you have content. Now, these things do go hand in hand, but honestly, you don't need too much of marketing and branding just to do content. When I say content, you need to be doing things. Technically, you're supposed to be dropping stuff 2 to 3 times a day. Now, even I fall short on that because most of the times I'm doing it once a day. But even once a day is better than nothing because somebody's seeing you. And once somebody see you, they recommend you to somebody else and somebody else and somebody else. So when I say drop content, that means you need to be on Instagram with Reels. You need to be on TikTok doing your TikToks. Keep them under a minute. Try to. If you're going to do something bigger than a minute, then make sure you pick a popular song, some popular hashtag, so people are seeing you. The biggest goal is to be seen, because once you're seen, people are going to remember you. And once you remember, they're going to word of mouth. They're going to spread it out. Oh, I saw this girl on TikTok. Let me see you seeing this TikTok video, or seeing this YouTube video. Oh, I saw this on Instagram. Let me send this to you. Whatever the case may be, you definitely want to push out content. We're in the world of social media, so you got to keep up with social media. If you're not going to post videos or pictures or anything, then hey, just keep reminding people I'm here. Get on Facebook every day. Yeah, I sell this. I do this. Don't forget, y'all, get on Instagram. Anybody need this? Anybody need that? The biggest thing is you got to go hard for your business like it's your child. This is your 5-year-old and their first time playing sports, and you on the sideline like, yeah, we about to do this. That's how hard you need to go. So yeah, like for me, just a few clips of advice. One thing I recommend when you're doing your content is make sure it's clear and concise. It's one thing to drop content, but if you're dropping the content and it's not really polished in a way, people will overlook it. People overlook polished content sometimes. Sometimes you just got to have active people, so make sure you are on top of that. If you have a Facebook, you have an Instagram, get rid of those inactive people. They're not liking stuff, they're not looking at stuff and saying good job, or oh, I can't wait for you to drop this. Okay, cool, bye. What else? I also recommend that, like, when it comes to your business, don't ever go outside of your rules and your regulations to try to please someone. I have great customer service, if I do say so myself. But one thing I have also learned in having great customer service is to not budge from it. I don't accept Cash App. It's fraudulent. People are good with saying, "Oh, let me call my bank. Girl, you didn't like what you got scammed," or whatever the case may be. Call your bank. No, thank you. We're not doing that. To make sure that I'm not getting fraud on my website, because I do run it through Wix, which doesn't have the biggest fraud protection versus Shopify. Shopify has a big fraud program to where they'll send the people who are using their websites like an email, and it'll tell you like the IP address doesn't match the billing address doesn't match the shipping address. Like, it gives you all the information. Unfortunately, with Wix, you do have to look out for that stuff on your own, but I created my website to work in accordance with that. Number one, when you're shipping stuff, always put shipping confirmation on your package. I don't care if you say the shipping is free. Pay that extra $1, $2 to have shipping confirmation, because when you ship it to them and they sign it, you can use the receipt that you got from USPS, and you can look up online what the signature looks like. So then when they go to tell their bank, I didn't get it, oh, what the signature is. Well, who is that? Because this was at the address that you gave me that your bank also has, with the signature that matches your first and last name. Oh, okay. Outside of signature confirmation, anybody who is local but they choose to order on my website, I make them take a picture with it in their hand, because people will try to get you like that and be like, oh yeah, I ordered from your website, and they live in the same city as you, so they're coming to pick it up. You don't even have to do signature confirmation. But when they pick it up, who knows that they picked it up? Their bank don't know that they met with you. You can have text messages and say we met, but they can say no, we didn't. Always have proof. And then when we talk about proof, don't use social media as your proof. If people are going to order from you and they're not paying you cash, make sure that you have an email somewhere up in there. Somewhere, a confirmation email, an email stating that they have an appointment with you, whatever the case may be. Email is what's going to hold up most when it comes to taking action. Text messages do hold up as well, because that's someone's personal number. But when it comes to social media, people can always say I got hacked. So you want to cover your, be on your P's and Q's. This is pretty much all I'm going to say for right now, because I've already made this longer than what I wanted to make. But if you guys want a part 2, let me know. I am going to make a different video going more in depth about the hair industry. So if you're waiting for that, that should be up sometime this week. I'm going to give you a few of the ins and outs and a few of the things that I dealt with, and then a few of the things that I personally do to make my business run smoother. So thank you for watching.